G'day guys, welcome back to the channel. My name's Caitlin. I'm an American writer living in beautiful Sydney, Australia, and somebody had sent this video over on Discord for me to check out how shopping malls are being transformed into apartments in the US. Now, as somebody who was very much a mall rat in the early 2000s, RIP Neshaminy Mall in Philly and Franklin Mills in Philly, I will miss those malls so much. They're slowly dwindling away in the States. Shopping malls are becoming less and less frequented because things are going online. It's very easy to get 2-day shipping on Amazon for just about anything you need now. So shops are starting to disappear, which means shopping malls are starting to just vanish, which is a little heartbreaking. I absolutely love shopping malls. And we also had strip malls. So it's like literally just a strip of shops along the street, along the area. I'm going to the States later on this year. I will see if I can get a couple of videos up for you guys while I'm over there, have a little bit more fun with it this year, and show you a little bit of what it was like growing up in Philly, show you a little slice of my hometown. But this video about shopping malls being transformed into apartments could actually be kind of brilliant. So grab a Bicky, grab a cuppa, and let's get right into this video.
So welcome to the teeny tiny shoebox apartment inside the arcade. There are lots of others in the building just like this. So mine is about 250 square feet. There's a walkway right in front of the facade because this used to be a shop front, and so people had to access all of the shops in the building.
While malls across the U.S. are facing store closures and empty parking lots, some are finding a new life from an unlikely source.
Just imagine living in the QVB. Like, imagine if the QVB ended up shutting down and you were living in there as an apartment. That would be wild.
We're here at the Arcade Mall in Providence, Rhode Island, the oldest indoor shopping mall in the country. The Arcade had long been a center point in Providence's bustling downtown, but like other malls, it fell on hard times and was completely vacant. But rather than letting this historic building fall into ruin, developers came in and decided to build 48 micro-lofts here on the second floor and up here on the third floor. While top-tier malls continue to be in high demand, nearly 34 million square feet of U.S. mall space is vacant and off the market. Almost 70% of Americans live within an hour of a mall that has a high vacancy rate, low consumer traffic, or is abandoned altogether. At the same time, the country is facing a massive housing deficit of 4.5 million homes.
There's a housing problem in a lot of markets across the U.S., right? This is an opportunity to find land and have a built-in customer base to get people into the mall.
That's really smart and really clever and a great way to utilize the space that is there and exists. Like, we don't always need to create new everything. We can revamp and reutilize what we already have. That's so much more efficient and makes so much more sense for places like this, because if it's the oldest indoor shopping mall, you wouldn't want that to fall into disrepair. You'd want to be able to keep that little bit of history, and if you can't have it there as a mall, have it as apartment complexes.
Monday through Friday, this is really busy down here. It's definitely, people in the offices working, getting lunch or whatever, and my barber's downstairs.
As of January 2022, at least 192 U.S. malls plan to add a housing component. The U.S. has about 1,100 regional and super-regional malls, about 8.5% lower than 2015. So, can new housing developments help revive the classic American mall? And what's it like to live inside one? CNBC went to Providence, Rhode Island to find out.
So could you live in like one of those little micro apartments, micro places? Places like tiny homes and all fascinate me, the way that people are able to just condense their entire life into something so small. Like, this is going to sound terrible. My husband and I live in a 3-bedroom house, and it still feels like we do not have enough space for storage. We have so much stuff. There is no way we could live in a small place. And it fascinates me how some people are able to just declutter, get rid of so much stuff, get rid of what feels like everything that like is sentimental and comforting, and just live minimally.
Amy Hinyon has been living on the top floor of a 3-story mall in Providence, Rhode Island for the past 2.5 years. What's it like to live at the mall?
It's really great. It's cool to be part of such a historic building and knowing that every single one of these units used to be a shop of some kind.
But living in a converted store does present some challenges.
Here is my very tiny kitchen. It is very small, but it is workable. And one of the interesting things about the units in the building is that because of codes, you can't have any cooking devices with an open flame. So none of the units have stoves or ranges.
Do you ever have any concerns about privacy?
Not really. It's something you get used to living in the building.
So, how does she cook? Like, do they have like a little kitchen area for everybody else? Like, how do you actually make food then if you don't have any ranges, any sort of open flame? I didn't see any sort of like little electrical like pot thing. You have no oven? How? Just how?
Having people coming and going. Everybody has blinds in their apartment that they can raise or lower as they like.
Despite those challenges, residents say having access to shops and restaurants makes living at the arcade a unique experience.
I get my hair cut in the salon downstairs, and there's little lunch spots, so you don't even have to leave the building. There's a bookstore downstairs, and they'll do author talks in the private lounge area.
Avoiding New England's sometimes stormy weather is, of course, another perk.
If it's like pouring rain outside or if it's snowy, you just really can't be bothered to go out in the weather, you can still go downstairs and take advantage of those amenities.
And it's not just long-term renters that are attracted to the mall. Scott Sheehan is a real estate investor and rents out his apartment on Airbnb. Some of these business owners that are down on the first floor, how important is it to them to kind of have a built-in customer base with these residents on the second and third floor?
I know a lot of folks are very loyal to, many of the bars, restaurants, clothing stores downstairs. So, the business folks downstairs definitely are interested in maintaining that relationship with the residents.
You definitely feel like you're part of the community more so than if you were just in a standard apartment building. It has been interesting with people trying to unlock my door thinking that this is an Airbnb apartment. So sometimes you have to deal with the public more than you would in a regular home. But for me, that's a small compromise.
I feel like just making a lot of compromises to stay there, though. I mean, one, how do you cook your food? Still waiting to hear on that. And what about sunlight? Like, you need to be able to get some natural vitamin D. You need to be able to have windows and whatnot, and not just windows that open up into this space full of fluorescent lighting. You need natural sunlight. So how, why, maybe I'll answer this.
When a mall dies, communities lose more than just a shopping destination. Malls often serve as economic hubs, generating billions in tax revenue and creating thousands of jobs. In 2020, U.S. malls and shopping centers contributed $400 billion in tax revenue. When malls close, it triggers an economic domino effect. Local businesses suffer, jobs are lost, and vacant spaces become eyesores. To combat this, developers are transforming dead malls into mixed-use spaces, offices, medical facilities, and housing. Of these conversions, nearly 54% are being used for residences and office space. Once upon a time, retailers like Macy's and JCPenney were the anchors of America's malls.
Oh my God, JCPenney. So both those stores still exist. There is still Macy's. They closed the one that was near my parents' house, and they closed the one in Center City. That was this huge, historic space. They're going to turn it into some other kind of shop. I think they're going to do something else with it. That space isn't going to completely go away, but so many people I knew remember the Macy's building, the Eagle statue. There was this gorgeous organ inside. It was incredible, and it was so heartbreaking to see that it was closing. I think they're going to still have a Christmas light show when we go over there in December. If they do, I will film that and share it with you guys, and maybe you will see why it was so sad that they actually closed Macy's there. But JCPenney's is still around. It's not nearly as popular as it was before. Boscov's is still around. But they've closed Sears, they've closed Strawbridge's, they've closed quite a few like major name department stores, which is kind of devastating.
But department stores are shrinking. Macy's plans to close 150 of its namesake stores by 2027. JCPenney, which has already closed hundreds of stores since declaring bankruptcy, is closing 4 more between this year and next, despite a $1 billion turnaround investment plan.
When you have dead retail space, it can be easier to clear that. Most of what a retail site is parking lot. So you don't have to demo much to demo a parking lot, and the buildings themselves are generally easier to demo and then adapt into a retail space.
The Arcade is a little bit different than some of the other mall-based residential projects out there. Most of them, like the one at Flatiron Crossing in Broomfield, Colorado, are adjacent to the mall and connected by green spaces or walkways.
This was a vacant parking lot, underutilized parking here at the mall, and we, decided to go as a mixed-use project here.
All of the benefits that the shopping center itself bring to the equation, you have a highly amenitized residential project that's much more desirable than something that might just be, in an isolated location.
It's good that they're also looking at parking lots too instead of just the shopping centers. I feel like that's one of the issues in some places in the States. We don't have a lot of that like stacked parking, like a lot of parking garages in a lot of places. It will be one lot, which you figure is only one level available for cars to park instead of building upwards. So that way you can have more cars, there's more space available for people for things other than parking. It helps a little bit with congestion on the roads. I think that is one of the areas where a lot of places in the States fall flat is parking and parking lots.
Not only does it meet housing needs, but it also revitalizes the property by bringing in a new customer base that can boost on-site restaurants, gyms, and entertainment venues. While housing in malls sounds promising, it's not without its challenges. Zoning laws can be a major hurdle. Malls are typically zoned for commercial or mixed use, not multifamily residential. Developers often need approval from local jurisdictions to move forward.
Like any other developer, are having to navigate things like interest rates, construction costs, the capital markets, and so on.
Another obstacle is design. Most malls have limited windows, which are essential for residential spaces because they need natural light, making it difficult to convert certain parts of the mall. Usually, only the exterior-facing retail spaces are suitable for housing. Converting commercial office space into apartments is another trend, but it's often very expensive. A study found that in 5 U.S. metro areas hit hardest by remote work, the estimated office acquisition price would need to drop by 50% for the conversion to be financially feasible.
Conversion projects are really tricky because, a lot depends upon existing conditions, which you might not always know about. But to give you a range, on a very low end, you'd be looking at maybe $200 a square foot to convert, where on the upper end, you might be looking more at like $800 or more per square foot to convert.
Despite those headwinds, malls across America just might have a second chance if they can truly become the housing hubs of the future.
The mall's becoming cool again, and so being able to live by it, work by it, play by it, go to restaurants by it, we're definitely seeing this as a trend.
Some people are confused and they'll say, why would you want to live in a space that's small? But for me, it's about having a reasonable apartment at a reasonable price that will force me out into the community and interacting with the people outside. The point is not to stay in the 250 square foot studio, it's to interact with the downtown that you're living in.
That really does come down to lifestyle. Like obviously a family could not comfortably live in a 250 square foot apartment, but yeah, I guess if you're single and it's just you and you're comfortable with something like that for like a short term, it's only going to be maybe a few years kind of like rental property, yeah, why not? So I don't know about you guys, but I do not think I would be able to survive living in a 250 square foot apartment for that long though. Like maybe a year or two if you're also able to put things in storage for a little while. But again, you have the cost of just having things in storage, which could be going towards rent for a bigger apartment. It's great to see that they want to utilize these spaces a little bit more. And I think it's like an Airbnb. That's a great idea. But I wish they also showed the apartment a little bit more, like what does the shower bathroom situation look like? What about food? Are you able to do things besides just go down to the shops on the first floor? Like, are you able to actually cook your own food in some way? Can you have electric, like one little range things? Like what are the options that will fit with the zoning laws? I don't think I ever could. Let me know down below if you guys think you would be able to. I don't think I could long term. I think that would be like a very small little short term solution. And even then, that was only if it was just me. There are two of us, we have pets. No way would that in any way be feasible. But it's nice to see that they actually want to do something with these spaces instead of just leaving them and letting them rot. So that's it for this video, guys. How shopping malls are being transformed into apartments in the States. So let me know what you guys think down below. Is this something that you would actually consider if it was ever an option, like a small little tiny place like this? Let me know. I'm always interested to hear what other people think. If you guys like this video, please pop on over to Discord and recommend others if you have any, or let me know in the comments down below if you have any as well. I don't always get to check the links, but sometimes I will. If you guys have any video suggestions as well, besides just reaction videos, let me know in the comments down below. Thank you guys so much for watching. If you like this video and haven't already, please hit the like and subscribe button. I really do appreciate your support. It does help push videos like this out into the algorithm and show other people who may be interested as well. So it does really support this channel and help support me. And I will see you all in my next video. Bye.